But I do have a question for you. It's pertaining to Ethan. I think it's interesting
Oh,
your journey, like
H3.
listening to him.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Because there are times where I feel like when I first started watching you, you just like couldn't stand him. Mainly because of, if I'm right, it's probably just around the time I joined the fan base. You couldn't stand him and Hassan because of the Gideon thing. Is
Okay,
that
yeah.
right?
So that yeah. So my yeah. So my first when I first started engaging with Ethan, I liked him. Um, that was before you had joined. You know, I would react to some stuff and I would be more charitable to him. What got me to start to dislike him a little bit was when he started working with Trisha, and he like it did bother me when like she disrespected his wife and he never like got her to publicly apologize. I don't even think privately. It bothered me a little bit. And then like yeah, with the Hassan thing, I that really kind of I felt like Ethan is a significantly worse person now after that whole thing. So and I guess yeah, the Gideon thing as well. I know it's what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay, I was wondering. Oh, your wife has feedback about your audio.
My wife what?
Has feedback about your audio.
What that piece of shit say? What did she fucking say? I sound bad. I sound bad in the stream?
I mean, I don't think your audio changed, but I don't know.
It's
Maybe you
probably
do a poll
her.
while we're talking.
I think it's her. I think it's her. She's it's probably her Wi-Fi or whatever. But yeah. Anyway, what were you saying?
Okay. Yeah, so I was wondering because you actually like went right into what I wanted to ask you because
Mhm.
for me, I'm at a point because there's a point where I could watch you, Hassan, and Ethan like simultaneously. And I actually had like a point of contention with you when it came to Gideon and Hassan, and we can get into that
Oh
if you want.
yeah, of
It's
course I
kind of
want to get
moot
into
now
that.
because yeah, it's kind of moot now because like I think Hassan is trash and Ethan's kind of getting there. But my feelings towards Ethan and Hassan are kind of different because I'm
Okay.
wondering from your perspective, is it worse to be a hapless idiot or a malicious actor?
Um, I don't know. I don't know. Is it worse to? I don't know. I guess it's worse to be a malicious actor. Probably. Sure. I think they're both bad though.
Okay, I'm wondering because like for Hassan, the reason why I can't stand him is because I feel like he's just actively malicious at this point. At first, like I thought he was an idiot due to the bad call when he's just like, oh yeah, Russia will never do that. It's just like, dude, everything is pointing to Russia attacking. Like, what are you talking about? That was my disillusionment of him for good. Like there were times where I'm just like, yeah, it's just a himbo, but at that point I'm just like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Um, but then now he's just at a point where he just seems actively malicious. Ethan, even now with the whole like Olivia and Abba and Preach thing, it just seems like he just sort of bends to the whim of sometimes his audience, sometimes his crew, and because of that, like I feel like he tries to be a genuine guy, but he's just an idiot,
Okay.
you
So
know?
you're saying Hassan is the malicious guy and Ethan's the hapless idiot. Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Yeah, probably. I couldn't agree with that. I mean, Ethan probably means well. It just bothers me. Some of the dumb shit he says. You know, I hate to say it, it bothers me that sometimes he just won't like watch. Like what you brought up the Gideon thing before, and he didn't like watch the interaction between Gideon and Hassan, or you know he won't watch like Fresh and Fit's response to that thing he keeps bringing up after 2 years with that one girl, and it's like you know just don't talk about it at a certain point if you're not willing to actually engage with what you're talking about. It's a little bit frustrating, but he probably means well. Like, yeah, probably. It's just like you know how much. Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think he's a bad guy,
Yeah,
but
for
he's a
sure.
fucking. He pisses me off.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'll throw lazy in there too. He's a hapless, lazy idiot because that was my
Well, listen, I'm
problem with
lazy
him when he
too.
was on Frenemies.
That's the thing is I'm lazy too, but it's like your job is to watch other people's videos. I mean, for the most part, that's what Ethan's job is. So like,
Right.
just like do your job. You know, all I have to really do is sit down and watch a video on a stream, and it's like you know what that. I'm lazy too, but it's not that difficult because there's a difference between watching something and then just being a fucking idiot and misinterpreting it, which I'm sure I do sometimes, versus like not watching
Yeah.
it and then just you know whatever. Even with my wife, who's somebody that I respect tremendously and that is smarter than me or anybody in the Ethan's thing or most people on the internet or and everybody on the internet. When she tells me something, I still look into it myself to confirm it a lot of the times as well. Like I feel like that's a little bit of a skeptical mind. You should have that. Um,
Right.
yeah, and that's what Ethan doesn't have. He just takes his friend's word for it constantly.
Yeah, and that is frustrating because always just like kind of he would just sort of blindly listen to whatever Trisha was telling him. And that just seems to be a thing for him. Like he just listens to whoever's saying it and he doesn't question it. Like Trisha's just like, I remember it was a thing where she just sort of made up a beef with somebody and she's like, I got beef with this person. And he's like, oh yeah, well fuck that person. And then it turned out that like that beef didn't exist and she kind of made it up on the spot. So
Yeah,
I think you're right. Like when he
I remember that
I'll
with
say
like
what?
yeah, sorry. I remember what with like the situation where Trisha had claimed a person had assaulted her, and there was like she had referenced information that didn't exist, and Ethan just took it for a fact, and then like
Yeah.
later on he had to retract it, and he did the right thing retracting. He was like, "I'm sorry, guys, this isn't confirmed." He didn't say it wasn't valid because it might have still happened. He said it wasn't confirmed, and I respect that. But it's like you think you try to you think you try to be better about that. And again, I probably do it more than I think, because Ethan is a bigger content creator who has more people policing him. So, maybe I make more mistakes than I even realize. Who fucking knows?
Well, I think you make mistakes in the sense that like I guess some constructive criticism, but I think it's something you're aware of, like in terms of like jumping into something when you first watch something. But it's kind of like human in a way because you'll watch the whole thing and then we watch your perspective evolve and change like as you're watching it. And so that's how I kind of like see it. And then at times like depending on the day, like there will be a bias of yours that gets in the way, but then you'll read feedback and go like, okay, guys, we're gonna go over this again because I got a lot of shit from my fans.
Oh yeah, so
So maybe
you're
you
referring
give another
to
shot.
yeah. I think the first thing you're referring to is just how I consume content is like I look at it live, so I'm obviously going to be uninformed on some of it when it's a new topic. That I don't really see as like a bad thing or a loss because that's just people who
Yeah.
watch my content know that's how I do the content. Like if you're looking for somebody who has a perspective already wrung out and engaging with something, that's like generally not what you're going to get here. And I think that's fine. Like we're all learning together almost. When it comes to sometimes saying things and then having audience feedback, yeah, I try to be good with audience feedback. I try to take the criticism well. I sometimes change my perspective. Sure, you know. I guess that's the difference, but between me and Ethan, I don't know. But yeah, sure. It is
I
what it
mean, I
is.
think so. I think that's like the hapless idiot portion because yeah, you say that you're lazy a lot, but I don't know. Like, yeah, maybe in what because what you mean by that is like you sit around and like watch videos, but like at the
Yeah.
very least, like I think it's lazier to watch like 2 seconds and then just go like, oh man, yeah, fuck that guy, and then meanwhile, like the rest of the video like provides the rest of the context, or even worse, like in the situation with Olivia and Abba, he watched the video, but he's listening to his crew, and to some extent. I guess this is a portion where I was just like asking, do you think it's worth to be a hapless idiot or a malicious actor? Because it felt like as you were watching it, you're getting frustrated with him, which understandably so.
Oh yeah.
But you were like saying it in a way where it's just like, oh man, Ethan is just like he didn't use these words. I don't remember what words he used exactly, but something like, man, Ethan is just fucking evil and fuck the rest of the crew. And I get that, but like in terms of like, is he evil or is he just a fucking idiot? Because every
That
single time, like,
Yeah.
yeah,
Well, so to be clear, Ethan is not actually like a stupid person. Like but
right.
right, like because I mean I've been saying it too. I'm not saying you're like wrong. We've been calling him like an idiot, but just to be clear, he's really not a dumb person. I mean, he's a pretty decently smart guy, which is why it annoys me when he does dumb shit like this. But like yeah, sure. Sometimes I get a little worked up and I get a little disproportionate. That's probably a reasonable criticism. Yeah, sure. He's not like an evil guy. It's just so goddamn frustrating, especially like just stop talking about it. Stop talking about this thing from 2 years ago if you're not really going to parse the information. And I get it too because it has to do with fresh and fit. Um, and like fit, Myron is like a legitimate rape apologist. Like he's told women who were raped that it's their fault for not choosing better men. I don't think Ethan knows that, which is if he knew that, at least he'd have an argument. I get it. It's just like a little frustrating.
Oh
So,
yeah, and that wasn't even like a criticism towards you. It was more like a discussion point. Like I personally wondered, like as you're watching it, because like for some people you'll like alternate on that, and that's what I was kind of getting to when I was talking about like first watching your content too. Because you used to be like super charitable towards conservatives, and that used to be a thing that frustrated
Well,
me, but in a good way because like I like having some differences with people that I watch. But then
mhm.
like at time when you came over my way, where you're just like, you know what, conservatives have just sort of kind of fucking lost it, and then I'm just like, yeah,
Well, I
bro,
mean, I
I've
think that's
heard
because conservatives in America have, for the most part, lost it. At least political conservatives have fucking lost it.
it.
So that's why I got to that point. They weren't as bad in like 2016. They were not as crazy. You know, it's like a slow happening. I don't think people who are conservative are necessarily bad, but I think that
Yeah, me neither.
the conservative party is a fucking disaster area now. It's like that's kind of where we're at now.
Yeah, so I'm not attacked every single time I'm in chat, and I guess like everybody doesn't know who I am, but like just in case. I think conservative people are fine. I think you're right there, and I think you made the distinction that was interesting. I thought about in terms of like Trump supporters aren't really like conservatives; they're like a whole different
No,
tribe
they're
of their
fucking
own.
psychopaths. Yeah, like I understand if you vote for Trump, some people just feel like he represents it better because they don't really look at what the stuff that he does, and they might be New Yorkers that don't care about being sensitive,
Hmm.
or something. Because that's like I get it, but also as a president, you need to hold him to a very high standard. He shouldn't be. It should be very rare when he's saying something that is easily misconstrued. With Trump, it was like every other day he was saying something people found offensive because he just wasn't speaking in a way that a president should speak. You're not talking to your bar buddies. You're not talking to people like as a CEO in a room. You're talking to the every American person. That everybody's gonna have a different thought, a different feeling, a different experience, and you need to be able to effectively communicate with as many of them as possible. And it seems like obviously like you got your Ben Shapiro's who don't care about that. They're like, oh, that doesn't matter, but it does. It matters. Like you should be sensitive to everybody. If you're the president, you have a high expectation on you. You're supposed to be the most powerful person in the world. So
Exactly. And things like that and the Ethan situation are what made me wonder, like for you, because like I said, depending on what you're covering or depending on what you're talking about, you'll kind of alternate in terms of like what you label things. It's just like, oh, okay, that person's just fucking stupid. It's like, oh man, that person is just like actually a bad actor. And so I guess I wondered for you, like if you had it your way, like I Thanos snapped one out of existence or like Thanos snapped one to change into the other, like which would be
oh,
worse
I
for
mean, I
you?
would snap
A half a idiot or
I'd
yeah.
snap the evil guy out of there because I feel like you could work with people that are just don't realize what they're doing is wrong. But what do you mean I switch it constantly? Are you saying that I have like a big cognitive dissonance that you've noticed, or is this just in
Not
reference to
switching
Ethan?
constantly. Yeah, so for Ethan more recently, I think because this one kind of stuck in your craw, as you were listening to it a little bit more, you were talking about a more like being more hyperbolic in your language and in your descriptions of them. And it was just like, okay,
Mm.
even Ethan, again, I don't remember exactly what you said, so I'm being hyperbolic here, but like the substance of it was something to the effect of like, man, fuck Ethan, he is being like such a bastard here. He is doing this. And I was listening to it and I was just like, I don't know. It's like Ethan is just being more of a fucking idiot. And his crew is the one, like, I feel like his crew just like gets, because Ethan's the face of everything, his crew is just like sort of pushed to the side by everyone. And to your credit, you specifically, you were talking about Olivia. But I feel like when most people talk about H3, they just focus on Ethan. But
Yeah.
in this instance, he was just like, yeah, I don't know. Aberrant Preach seemed pretty all right. And they're like, no, fuck Aberrant Preach. It's like, yeah, fuck Aberrant Preach. I'm
Well,
like, Ethan, you're a fucking idiot. Like,
that's the
Jesus.
thing though, is that I think that my biggest thing that made me go crazy in that video was that Ethan is weak. He's a weak person who lets people around him roll over him. And so, like, I understand what you're
Yeah.
saying. Like, maybe it's not necessarily him, but if he's letting his crew get away with it, he's the boss. And he's not giving any pushback. I mean, who's the real bad person? It's Ethan. Like, you're not like he's consistently shows himself to be weak. He doesn't, in my opinion, defend his wife as much as he should. And I understand that this happened back during the Trisha thing. He doesn't defend like himself in these situations. He doesn't like stand on a point. He just constantly rolls over. He doesn't look into like what actually is going on. I don't know. Maybe he just takes the safe path because he's afraid of criticism. I don't really know,
Mhm.
but it's like, how do you respect that? Like, I'd rather somebody be a fucking asshole and just like stand on your. Listen, I'm stubborn, so even when I'm wrong, I'm going to stand on my point for a while until I realize it. I'd rather somebody like that than somebody who like instantly rolls over. Like this bothers me. Maybe it's more of just an ideological difference, and maybe I'm just too critical on him or something. That's perfectly possible. I don't know. I'll continue to
Yeah,
explore
like
that
I said,
bias.
I'm not like torn up about either way, and it's barely. I don't think it's a constructive criticism. I was more just like picking your brain on the matter. And you even talked about it just in you actually like said the thing that made me go like, huh, I wonder about that. So like you said. you're being a bad person, and that's what I was wondering. Like I couldn't remember what you said. So do you think there's a distinction between somebody being a bad person versus somebody being a person who does bad things?
Oh
Is what I
yeah,
was
of
wondering.
course. Yeah, that's like the thing you said before, the hapless idiot versus like the whatever mischievous dick or whatever it was. Yeah, I'm sure
Yeah.
I do bad things all the time. Of course, sometimes I get when I'm jerking off, I get cum on the sheets. I don't wipe it up. I mean, that's a bad thing. I don't think I'm a bad person.
I
It's
never
just.
thought that could be on voice with you when you made a joke like that. That completely threw me.
But yeah, we all do bad things. I do bad things all the time. I think I have expired milk in the fridge and everything. So it's life, unfortunately. So
Right. Okay.
all right.
Yeah. So you're just saying at this point you feel like Ethan has crossed over from being a person who does bad things to being a bad person.
No, I cover Ethan sometimes, and he pisses me off, and then I get irritated, and then I go, that's it. And then sometimes I cover him, and I'm very like charitable. The whole Jake Doolittle thing, I defend him through other things before, like what I mean. It's just the natural cycle of Ethan Klein and my engagement with him.
The natural cycle of Ethan Klein. Okay, I'm here
That's
for it.
that's all it is,
Well,
and then eventually maybe one day he'll acknowledge me, and I don't know. I don't really care if he does. I'd rather not deal with that. It's annoying. My wife was not happy when he talked about me and her squabble like a year or so ago. She found it annoying, so I'm just gonna keep doing
when
my
he
thing,
talked
man.
about you all,
Yeah, it
man, if
was
it
a
was a year
debate.
ago, I guess I forgot.
It was a debate. It had to do with my wife and stuff. My wife doesn't like to, she's not really a big fan of that type of attention. If she wants to do content creation, she would just want to be like a silly little like food influencer or something. She doesn't want to talk about fucking brain rot, online drama where people are incredibly stupid when it comes to like the actual conversations about different very important things. So
Yeah,
yeah,
makes sense. And you all should do more stuff. Like Mama Gut has some interesting things to say
she
pertaining from her
does.
perspective of what she does.
I'm trying to get her there. We're trying to figure out how we want to do our content. It's hard to figure out exactly how we want to do everything that like we have time for and stuff. That's kind of like the biggest problem between this is like my job, so it gets a little difficult to get out of my working on this, which is like streaming, and then I do video editing, and then I find clips to then have the energy to do content with her, and then getting her to do content with me in the way that she wants to do it. It's just like a lot of I gotta be. I like to relax and like do other stuff, hang out with her. You know what I mean? So sometimes the content thing can fuck us up a little bit. Like when we were doing a
Yeah.
podcast, we were saving our conversations that we normally have together for a podcast, and that frustrated us because then we weren't talking as much, and we like to just have nice conversations sometimes. A whole different fucking. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Hopefully,
Yeah, absolutely. And
eventually.
much respect to you valuing your conversations with your wife over content. Like that's much needed these days. But hey, I gotta go ahead and take off. But thank you
Yeah.
so much for letting me pick your brain on this.
Yeah, no problem. I appreciate the questions. It's potential content for me. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. Get that content, baby.
All right. You take care, man. All right.
Hello. How good can you hear me?
What?
How good can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you better now. Sorry, I didn't hear what you were saying. What's up?
Okay. Right. I have a strong British accent, so if you don't hear anything, just ask me to repeat it.
No problem. What's up?
Right. So I'm here to push back about your 17 or 19 or whatever it is and 15 age
Oh my
gap.
god. Give me 1 second. Okay, I'll let you push back. I just need my there we go. I wanted to make room's a mess. I wanted to maximize my camera. Okay, go ahead. What's so hold on. You're saying what is it that you're specifically pushing back against?
Right. 19 and 15. Okay, well, shall we agree on our age? What age should we agree on?
Well, hold on.
Right, 18 and 15.
No,
Right.
I don't need to push specifically. What is it that you're pushing back on? What perspective of mine are you pushing back
Right,
on?
so you said, I think it was last week,
Okay.
that 19 and 15 is inappropriate, but it's not predatory.
Yes, yeah, yes. I would say generally speaking, sure.
Right. I'm 19, okay? Keep that in mind. The level of difference between me and a 15-year-old is insane.
Okay. Maybe. Listen,
Right,
sure.
so the point that I brought up before was I have gone through sexual experiences, which a 15-year-old on average doesn't.
Okay.
I have gone, I've lived on my own for a year during university. I have worked for 3 years. I
Okay.
have loads of things. I can legally drive. I can legally drink. I've had so I like.
Hold on. Well,
Think about it, I have lived almost.
Well, you said that you worked for 3 years. Just be clear. Like I'm assuming by that logic, a 16-year-old could work in your country. So like a 15-year-old, I would imagine also can work too, right?
No, well, not in the job I was doing.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, I'm just saying in general.
I was a.
Yeah, no, you have more life experience than a 15-year-old. That's why I think it's inappropriate for you to engage. But I don't think that the average 19-year-old is sitting there with this active understanding that they have a profound amount of power over like a 15-year-old. That's the distinction that I'm making. But I think it's inappropriate because
then why would the average 9? Oh, sorry, carry on.
No, go ahead.
There's
No.
quite an input delay. We're carrying. What? Why would an average 19-year-old understand that they're potentially assaulting someone if they can't understand that 15 is such an age gap?
Well, generally speaking, and like online is a different conversation.
Like, say,
what? Sorry.
Sorry. Carry on.
Yeah,
it's input delay.
Yeah, generally speaking, and again, online is different, but like offline, people have the concept of like a 4-year age cap. Generally speaking, isn't that bad. So most people are still going to carry around that cultural concept and go like, oh, okay, this is appropriate. I don't think it's appropriate because I do think a 15-year-old and a 19-year-old do have a pretty big difference in their level of maturity. Although I'd say in Western countries, it's probably not as much as in another country. But again, like it's the intention. Predatory is an intention attached to it. There's a difference between having a power dynamic that is easier to abuse, which I think a 19 to 15-year-old have, versus an active understanding that what you're doing is harmful and wrong and you could profoundly hurt somebody. I'd say for the most part, a 19 to 15-year-old probably isn't going to be a significant amount of harm from a 15-year-old. To a 15-year-old, I still think it's inappropriate. I don't think it should happen. But we're talking about predatory. Predatory is very intentional. It's very manipulative. It's very destructive. I don't think that the average 19-year-old dating the average 15-year-old is going to be a manipulative, destructive person that's going to like ruin their life. That's the only point that I'm making. Like I said, I think it's inappropriate. I don't think it should be a thing.
Okay, I've got 2 points. One, I just want to make it clear that a 19-year-old has lived 21% more of life than a 15-year-old.
They have 20%,
but
21% more. What?
Two,
Sorry, what
like
was?
they've lived 21% more life.
Okay.
Okay, one. That's one. Two, how would a 19-year-old meet a 15-year-old? Like and get to the point where they're friends. And then they're talking.
Yeah, that's a great point. So for one, they could have met in school. They could have been in some kind of a club. They could have met at a job together. They could have met at some kind of a hobby. They could have met online. I absolutely think where you meet is a factor because if you meet somebody casually, it's one thing. If you're intentionally going around trying to meet 15-year-olds as a 19-year-old, that would lend considerably to you being some kind of a weird predator looking for like very young people to attack or go after. Sure.
Okay, yeah, because I like in my life, the youngest person I know, and I work in a job where 16-year-olds can work, is 17. Like, okay. So 15 is just such like it's just so low. But yeah, those were my main points, mainly.
Yeah, no, listen again. I don't think it's appropriate. I don't think it's good. But I think that there's a difference between something being inappropriate and something being like very intentional. I don't think that most 19-year-olds are going around trying to predatorize 15-year-old girls. I think that most men that are 19 are very immature and they look at something and say they're attractive and they go, that should be fine. 15 is probably fine without a thought in their brain that they're trying to like take over the 15-year-old and like destroy them. I still think it's inappropriate. And I think that people should be saying it's inappropriate. Absolutely. I agree with that. I just don't think it's predatory. Predatory is very intense. It's a lot. It's like a very big word. That's like a lot of energy into that.
Sorry, Karen.
No, go ahead. I was done.
Okay. How do I articulate this? Right, so I understand. I agree with your point that people are maturing slower, but I also think that we have a higher understanding of the inappropriateness. So, like, I was taught up. I was basically when I was 15. If you dated a 13-year-old, you was weird just from what school taught you. At least here in the UK.
Sure.
So, like, we just have the mindset that like a big age gap at this age is not good.
I agree with that. Do you think that everywhere has access, like not for nothing, but this gets into a conversation about comprehensive sexual health education. Do you think that everywhere has access to comprehensive sexual health education that's going to be educating people on age gap differences and power dynamics?
Oh no, we don't have comprehend like I always advocate for more here in the UK, but like yeah, I agree with you on that point, and not everywhere does.
Yeah, that's the
like the
problem.
countries.
That the problem is that like I don't think everybody understands how different a 19 and a 15-year-old are. That's why when I look at it, I go like, yeah, this is inappropriate, but I doubt that they're trying to harm somebody. But yeah, again, advocation, I agree with. Educating people like what the differences are is very important as well. It's hard to do that because like even 15-year-olds want to date 19-year-olds. Like it's the unfortunate reality of the world. So this should change. So
I think the main factor is just where they meet him. If they meet him online, there's much more. Like, you know, do you know Bayes' theorem? You're smart. Do you know Bayes' theorem?
No, what is that?
Okay. So if something, it's basically probability. If something happens, what's the probability that the second thing will happen? If a 19-year-old meets a 15-year-old online, it's much more likely to be a predator than just meeting them through a hobby. If you understand what I'm saying.
Maybe. I mean, it depends on where they meet them. If they meet them in like a social website, if they meet them on a video game. I mean, again, the predatory aspect. I mean, I imagine if a 19-year-old trying to be a predator, they're looking for like 15-year-olds. Or excuse me, like 12-year-olds. I don't know that they're looking for 15-year-old girls. It could be, possibly. I think that 19 is a little young to be a predator for a 15-year-old. I think maybe they're looking for 12-year-olds and like absolutely, there's some kind of a predator. But I think that the way that most people interact, most like men interact or young men, they're like, oh, I'm a young man that's interested in girls, and they see somebody that they think is attractive, and then they're like, they don't even think about the age necessarily. I think that's really what it comes down to. Like, that's, I don't think it's like, oh my God, I want to find this 15-year-old to manipulate. I don't think that most people are looking at it that way.
Yeah, to be fair, there's also probably a cultural discrepancy between UK and America. As
I mean,
like
maybe
a 19-year-old dating a 16-year-old is considered weird here, even though it's legal.
Well, I mean, you're saying it's considered weird, but it's legal there more than it's legal for us. Just to be clear, I mean, well, we have a good amount of states with 18 age of consent and 17 age of consent, which I think it needs to be 18. But I would argue that my country is a little bit more progressive when it comes to, I would say, the defense of children when it comes to age of consent, which should be much higher. It should be 18.
I think there should be like parameters. Like a 16-year-old should like only be able to get with a 19, and then there's certain parameters that can be nuanced.
I agree with that. Like, yeah, I could see 16 and 18 or 19. I could see like 17 and 20. Sure. And I would say like 3 years from 16 up. And then like, I don't know, 1 year from 15. You know what I mean? I don't know. I think 1 year is reasonable. 15, 16 is fine. 15, 17, I don't know. I don't know if I feel comfortable with that. But that's another conversation for another day. So.
Yeah. Well, anyway, good discussion. I just want to say one more thing.
Sure, go ahead.
Right, I don't want to be sucking your dick too much, but I just want to say you've definitely furthered my social issue perspective and my maturity. Like I do have a father, but he's not as present in my life as I wanted. Well, as he could be growing up. So you've definitely provided another male role model to me. So thank you.
I appreciate that. Just be careful, okay? Be careful of me grooming you, all right?
Yeah, I'll try my best.
Right, but I do appreciate that. Thank you very much. It means a lot to me. I really do.
Hi, hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. What's going on, brother?
Hi, Mr. Guy.
How are you doing?
I got a bone to pick with you.
Oh no! What's happened now?
Okay, so I'm at work. So I'm a man of black.
You're a man. Okay, you're a man of black. All right.
So I think you know where this is going.
Is it about how I don't let people use the N-word in my chat?
Why can't I say the N-word?
Because this is a white man's chat. What are you talking about? We own the chat. No, I just don't like the word being used. If you listen, people on the internet are anonymous, so I know I have a good amount of black viewers for whatever reason. But if I start letting you guys do it, then there's going to be a bunch of white kids saying, "Oh, I'm black, I could say it," and they're going to start using it, and then they're going to start using it in a derogatory way. So I'd rather just not even deal with it. I feel like that's a better way to deal with it instead of letting anybody use it.
No, I'm just joking around. I am black, but
yeah,
no,
I know you're black. Yeah,
it's because the first interaction I had with you was over on Twitch, and I didn't say the A or the ER version. I said the well, how do I describe it?
How was there another version?
The Spanish version. That's what I said.
Oh,
if you can
okay. I know what you mean. Yeah, I gotta ban all of it. There can't be any any of it.
Like that was my first time in chat. I was commenting on something, and I immediately got like banned. I was like, what?
Hey,
How?
listen, I gotta hit a hard ship. I gotta keep a tight ship here on the on slur, well, potential slurs in the chat. Same thing with people who use like the R slur. I gotta
Oh,
get
no,
them
no.
too.
No, I get it. It was just one of the most funniest like moments here. It was just like that was my first chat, and it was like I remember messaging you about it, and you unbanned me and everything.
Oh
It
yeah, I
was
think I
just
just
funny.
told you that I try not to like have that word in the going around in the thing. Yeah, you
I mean
know.
that's good though, because it's like I really don't care for the word, but it's mostly like it does get kind of frustrating when you realize like mostly every white YouTuber has like an N-word scandal. It's like why is that the one scandal that's like consistent across all boards?
I mean, it's a bad word, and people use that word. And listen, if you ask me, it's obviously a bad word that nobody should say privately or publicly. But I also feel like sometimes people will go a little too crazy. It's like, oh, this person said it like 4 or 10 years ago, and it's like, oh, okay, like they shouldn't anymore. But then they'll go crazy. The environment gets very upset about it. So
It is it is a flavorful word. I will say that.
it's got a
I
lot
don't
of zest to it. That's for sure.
I don't say it personally, and like you'd be surprised about how offended like other black people get when you say you don't say it and you're black. Like they be like, well, "How come you don't say it? Like it's our word." And it's like, "Why are you offended that I'm not saying the word?" Like, because I like the reason I don't say it is because like I said it when I was a kid once, and
Mm-hmm.
like this elderly man, he kind of pulled me to the side and he was like, I'm not trying to talk about what you can say or not, but he was like, I marched for you to be able to say those things. I don't appreciate you saying things. He was very respectful with it. But it's like ever since he did that, I just for some reason I just can't seem to say it. I don't know if it's because I'm like Southern and like my grandma always said like respect your elders, and I guess that just stuck with me.
Mm-hmm.
But like I still can't say it to this day. So, and it's crazy how people get offended. I do say the Spanish version as aforementioned.
Okay, well, I mean that's the same thing, kind of, depending on your intent. But yeah, no, I get it. I had a teacher in high school who he was a black guy. His name was Mr. Johnson, and he did not like it when the black students used that word. He felt like it was just like keeping the oppression going or something like that. So,
Yeah, that's how I remember it. That's how I remember it being explained to me. And ever since then, I can't really say like either the A or the ER, but the Spanish version does roll off the tongue a lot, a lot, a lot easier.
Yeah, it keeps you nice and ethnically approachable. Maybe some Hispanic girls will walk up to you or something.
It's like my version of the A.
There you go.
Of the A. Well, yeah, that's basically. I just came here to just troll. I'm always kind of sort of trolling your chat. So
I know you're always trolling my chat. There's a few of you guys that are trolling the chat, but it's all good. It's all fun.
Yeah, so I just thought I'd kick in while I'm at work. But thanks for streaming because you stream like at the right time when I'm about to pull off into the. Because I do delivery driving.
Yeah.
And you stream like exactly as I pull off onto the road. Like you just start streaming. I'm like, thank you. I got
just for you, man. Just for you. I'm waiting for your truck to start moving, and then I start streaming, man. All right. Well, if you don't got anything else, I appreciate you stopping by. Man.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
All right. Have fun delivering your shit if you're still doing that.
I got about 10 more left.
Oh, shit. He's breaking up. All right. Well, have fun finishing work, all right?
All right. Thank you.
Take care.
How you doing?
I'm doing okay. Could be worse. How are you doing?
I'm all right. I wanted to talk about religion.
Oh, Jesus. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Okay.
Not exactly religion, but like, in the black community, a lot of people who are religious don't like gay people.
Yeah, sure. I feel like a lot of people that are religious in general don't like gay people, but yeah, sure, I understand.
Yeah, but it's like weird because
wait, are you black?
You'll have like, yeah.
All right, I gotta make sure that you're not some white kid in here trying to be a fucking asshole and just be like, black people are so bad because. Okay, all right.
But I went to an HBCU and everybody they didn't hate gay. Like let's say there's 3 points. Like you have one where you kind of you like gay people. and like 3 where you hate them. They're like all in the middle where they wouldn't go out their way to hate them, but like they were like weird around them. If you know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
Like they wouldn't like necessarily like dislike and talk about it on time, but they'll make like weird jokes. Like if you call them like gay, like it's like super offensive.
Yeah, they got a little bit of that. They got a little internalized homophobia. Yeah.
Yeah.
I work with like an old school black guy that was like that. Like we would play gay chicken at work sometimes. And then when he would walk up and we would do it to him, he'd get like pissed off and like offended and walk away. So it was kind of funny, but I know exactly what you mean.
And I had one friend, right, and he was like very religious and like very like religious. Like he didn't believe in evolution.
Oh shit!
I was like, okay. And
smart guy.
Yeah, he I know, but like he didn't really like the LGBT.
Okay.
You know, and I'm bi, so it was a very weird conversation.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
But it's just like he seemed like I know like he seemed like an asshole, but he wasn't actually like a bad guy. He's always nice to me. So I'm like,
did he know you were bisexual?
Like after a while, like I told people like when I was like super drunk and like he figured out, but he never really said it.
Did he stay friends with you?
But, yeah.
Oh, okay, that's cool. Sorry, what was your question?
Like, do you think there's like a way to like kind of teach like these religious people like how not like hate gay people? Like is it like too late or are they kind of like indoctrinated?
I mean it depends on the person. I think that there are some people that think gay people are really bad, and so but if they meet somebody and they're cool and then eventually they find out they're gay, sometimes that'll make them be like, oh okay, and hate them a little less. Sometimes for people you can't explain things to them. Well, we've all been there where sometimes you just need to have an experience with something and then you might be able to actually have a change of heart. And I think that there are some people that are religious that are like that. Like they probably grew up hating gay people, never knew a gay person, and if they did, that person was closeting hardcore because they didn't want to get beat up. And then as time goes on, they meet somebody that's like cool, that's gay, and they realize that gay people aren't like pedophile monsters because that's what some people think of them, unfortunately. And then they're like, oh shit, this guy's cool. I think that sometimes that's all it takes, just like a friend. You know, like the Daryl Davis thing. That one, I think his name is Daryl Davis. Correct me if I'm wrong. The black guy who became friends with like KKK members is a perfect example of that.
Yeah.
You know, doing God's work with that. So, yeah, sometimes it's just like, a little empathy.
I agree with you, but I feel like sometimes, and like maybe you kind of sometimes do this too. It's like I get a bit too harsh on religion.
Okay, me or
like
you?
A little bit. Like you.
Me?
And I don't think you're like the word.
Are you talking? Like, I feel like, are you fucking talking shit about me right now, dude? What the fuck?
I just think that like.
I hear what
sometimes like you like we'll be having like a random like conversation about like a YouTuber and then they'll say like they'll be like a bad person or whatever. And then they'll say like they're religious. It's like, oh, of course. Like you'll go a whole rant about how much
of course they're fucking religious. Well, listen, sometimes you can tell when somebody's very religious and they're just cringe. Okay, some people that are religious are very cringe. Yeah, I've heard the criticism that I talk about religion too much. I feel like I've gotten better, or not talk about it too much, where I haven't been as respectful as people would like. I think lately I've done better with that. So yeah, I think I'm doing better with
like I think like there's definitely worse. Like I like Destiny, like I've seen some wild stuff. Like I like Destiny, but like
I don't
the
think
bombing jokes be wild.
I don't think he's a particularly large fan of religion, you know. That's just a guess.
Which I get, because sometimes I'm like, oh, these religious people are like super annoying. I just wish they all just go away. Like there's times I feel that this is like it's usually when I'm like watching the Daily Wire for some reason.
Yeah, no, I think
which isn't a good idea.
No, probably not. You're gonna get some a little more crazy, kooky guys, religious guys there. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying. Some people have said that to me before. I understand it.
But I feel like if we like found somebody to look at like a larger like perspective, like if we just look at each other as like human and not like religious, I feel like we divide ourselves into like groups too much instead of like forgetting we're just all human.
That's true.
I feel like we just gotta like try. Like I understand. Like I get like it. Like I'm bi. Like I don't really deal with like homophobia at all or much because I just never had to tell anybody. But like I get when I see it, it's like kind of annoying because like it's just not that deep. Like who cares?
Yeah. Well, hopefully more religious people feel that way, and then maybe there'll be less issues. You know.
Like I don't know. Like, do you think like religion's gonna like kind of fall off and like disappear after a while? Or do you think it's here forever?
No, I mean, it might be here forever, but it's already is falling off, at least in Western countries. I think a lot of people are religious because they exist in an atmosphere of like lack of resources. So some of it's a cope, and lack of education, unfortunately. And I think people are turning away from religion. You know, I'm reasonably like religious. I grew up religious, but like I doubt my kids will necessarily be as time goes on, just because, you know, just kind of what happens. People get a little bit, they get less and less, enthralled by religion. So
I know, I guess kind of the same, but more of just like I don't really have any connection to like God or anything, so I can't really like express to like my children religion if I don't really have any connection. So,
you gonna raise your kids religious to hate gay people?
No, no, no. I'm saying I wouldn't really raise them just because I don't really have a connection with God. So.
Yeah. Well, that'll happen.
I might raise them to hate gay people.
I would say that it's gonna happen more too because it's gonna happen more too because you know, it's not a very accepting thing for some people, so people feel less inclined to engage in it. Like one of the reasons why I've become less religious is because, like, you know, there's a lot of loud voices talking about how they don't like gay people, so it makes me not want to be as religious. So, yep.
Oh yeah. One last thing.
Yes,
I think you need to chill on like the Demon Slayer hate. It's not that
dude,
bad.
Demon Slayer is so fucking overrated.
Yeah, look, bro. I know it gets
overrated.
kind of worse, but like
it's overrated, my man.
the animation.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine. The animation's fine, but all like, but the animation isn't everything. It's overrated. The storyline sucks. All right, it becomes too much. It becomes too much once they visit this whatever place it was, and everything becomes like superpower fucking crazy central. So, you know, that's my take. All right, that's how I feel.
Are you gonna see My Hero Academia season 7?
Am I what?
So. Are you going to see My Hero Academia season 7?
Of course I am. I can't wait for that fucking show to end. I think this is the last season. It's annoying because the show used to be good, and now the pacing sucks because they're like it's full of like, terrible bullshit filler.
Also, they like ruined the animation. They like deleted a lot of scenes because they thought it was like too graphic from the manga, which makes it better. It's really weird.
Oh well, that I could deal with because I understand that, but I think that the other part. Where the storyline is fucking boring because they're adding so much filler. It just pisses me off. It's just I like the first 2 seasons were great because they weren't full of like ridiculous filler. It was just kind of chill. You know, but hopefully that'll change. Hopefully that'll change. So
that's it. I just want to talk to you.
All right. Well, I appreciate you stopping by.
Appreciate it. I hope you have a good one.
You too. Take care. All right.
Yellow.
What's up? How are you?
I'm good. And yourself?
I'm doing all right. I'm just hanging out. I guess I decided to talk to fans for a little bit today after that conversation. So,
yeah, I'm glad.
Here we are.
I'm glad. I'm using my $2 wisely this month.
Oh, very good.
Yeah, my $2 membership. I'm like, I'm gonna go get in on this. So
what a steal! You know, it's a steal. Only $2. Like,
yeah, exactly.
What a beautiful thing.
I know. Well, I just was calling just to say hi, and that's all. I had nothing else to say. I'm just I'm actually here at work right now taking a 20-minute break before I got to go back in the office, and very happy because it's the end of the week. It's been like longest week ever.
Yeah, I hear that. My wife's had a rough week too. So not me though. Mine's been fine, but my wife seems to be rough for most people.
Yeah, it's just the beginning of the year. You know, I know she's kind of healthcare related. I am too. And it's just anytime we have roll around, it's just like, I don't know. It's job security, but at the same time, it's like, I'm tired.
Yeah, I get that. It also makes sense because people aren't happy anymore because it's not Christmas time. So they're miserable and they want to be pieces of shit. So you got to deal with that too.
You know, I'm actually kind of happy sometimes when Christmas is over. It's only because in my family... Hell yeah. Oh my God. You know, it's just, I mean, we only do gifts for the kids because it's just everybody else is an adult and they can buy their own shit. But
oh yeah.
yeah, but
still expensive. Hey, we made the mistake of sponsoring a family and we ended up spending, I think, $700 on their gifts. So I don't know why we did that. Or maybe it was $400, but we spent a lot of money on their gifts. They had like 3 kids, so you know,
that's sweet though.
Yeah, I'm not that sweet. $400+ was insane. You know, no, I'm just kidding. But it was a lot to do that, and then we also did like they had Walmart. They had like an angel tree, so we tried to do a couple things, and we didn't realize how much money we were spending. So
yeah, no, it is okay. You know, especially once you guys have those kids. when you guys have kids, you're gonna realize that it is a lot of fun to spend for them.
Hopefully
more than for yourself.
Hopefully this coming Christmas. All right, we'll find
yeah.
out. Pray for us.
Yes, that'll be really fun. So I don't think I had anything else to say. Like I said, using my $2, just saying hi and saying hi to everybody in the chat. I love talking to everybody, and that's it.
All right. Well, I appreciate you stopping by. All right, you take care.
Okay, thanks. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.
All right, fun. We're having fun today. All right, I think we had a nice day today. My wife's home, so that's cool. So I love you guys. Y'all take care. Have a good one. Peace out, Boy Scouts. Bye.